In this video, we're going to deep dive into accessible data visualizations, which is one of the highest risk areas for accessibility in any organization. Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump into the ring. Dashboards, KPIs, titles, infographics, and exported chart images. These are everywhere in modern reporting, and the failure rate on them is extraordinarily high. So this is going to be a quick and focused video, and by the end, you're going to understand why data visuals are often high risk, and you'll have a repeatable workflow you can use to fix any visualization you come across. Here's the roadmap. We're going to define the landscape, and I want to push your definition of data visualizations beyond just charts and graphs, because there's a lot more in scope. Then we're going to talk about why data visualization is so risky for accessibility. We'll quickly ground it in the law and the WCAG criteria that apply so you know what auditors are looking for. And then we'll close with a 5-step workflow you can reuse on any visualization applied to a real dashboard so you can see the whole thing in action. So what counts as a data visualization? It's any visual encoding of data that's meant to communicate an insight that's broader than people think. It's not just bar charts and line graphs, it's dashboards and dashboard reports, the kind your business intelligence team publishes weekly. It's top-line metric cards and KPI titles, those big number callouts at the top of a report that say 71% or 3,742. It's maps, it's infographics, it's tables that were saved as flat images instead of real tables. It's spark lines, those tiny inline trend charts. It's gauges and dials. Every single one of these encodes meaning visually, and every single one of them has to have a path to that meaning for someone who can't see it. The key takeaway is each component carries meaning, and each component needs an equivalent. Let me make this concrete with 2 real use cases. A screen reader user opens up a quarterly dashboard and they hear one word: image. That's it. Every KPI, every number, every trend, gone. The dashboard is functionally invisible to them. A low vision user opens the same dashboard and can't separate 2 trend lines because they differ only by color. The comparison the chart was built for is lost on them, and the shared cost in both cases is exclusion from decisions made with that data. When the leadership meeting happens and the team is referencing the dashboard, these users can't participate. That's the real world impact, and that's the gap that we're trying to close. So let's do a quick legal grounding. Same as the rest of these videos, the 2024 ADA Title II rule points squarely at WCAG 2.1 level AA, with compliance deadlines in 2027 for larger jurisdictions and 2028 for smaller ones. Section 508 covers federal agencies and contractors at WCAG 2.0 AA. Section 504 covers HHS-funded organizations, which sweeps a lot of healthcare providers at the WCAG 2.1 AA requirement. Now we also have the Colorado House Bill 21-1110, which requires state and local government entities to make digital services, websites, documents, and other information technology accessible to people with disabilities. The practical point that I want to drive home is if your organization is publishing dashboards, KPI reports, or data summaries publicly to a board, to constituents, to the public, to students, this applies to you. There's no exception for data products. Now, there are 4 families of the WCAG criteria that do the heavy lifting for data visualizations. And this is 1.1.1 non-text content. A text alternative for the visualization is required. We have 1.3.1 info and relationships. The underlying data structure must be programmatically available, which usually means a real data table. Then we have 1.4.1 use of color. Color must never be the only visual cue, so you need to use patterns, labels, or shapes alongside it. And 1.4.3 plus 1.4.11, text contrast and non-text contrast. Meaningful elements to be perceivable. Memorize those 4 families: text alternative, color independence, contrast, and exposed structure. Those 4 recur in every single deck in this series because they're the foundation of perceivable content. All right, here are the 5 issues that I find again and again. Number one, and this is by far the most common, no real text alternative, or just the word image as alternate text on a complex dashboard. Number two, color only encoding. Red equals bad, green equals good with no other cue. Number three, low contrast data series and labels. The text and the visual elements are too pale or too small to perceive. Number four, top line metric cards conveyed only as styled visuals. The big 71% number is a styled image, not real text, so a screen reader can't read it. And number five, no accessible data table behind the visual. Even if everything else is fixed, without a real data table, a screen reader user might not be able to interact with that data appropriately. Now here is the repeatable workflow. 5 steps. Step 1, identify the components. Break the visualization down into parts. Step 2, give each component a text alternative. Step 3, fix color and contrast. Step 4, add a real accessible data table behind the visual. And step 5, test it with a screen reader. Rather than leave the workflow abstract, let's run all 5 steps on a real dashboard from start to finish. All right, here's our starting point. A quarterly program dashboard that was exported into a single flat image. We have 3 KPI titles: total program enrollment, on-time completion rate, and at-risk count. Then there's a bar chart or region totals. And there's a donut chart showing the one-time rate. Now, let's look at what's broken. The whole thing was saved as one flat image. So the alt text is just the word dashboard. Meaning is carried by red and green color only, which is going to fail our 1.4.1. There are no value labels. There are no underlying data structures, which fails our 1.3.1. So there's 3 major failures on this single dashboard. Now let's apply the fixes. Step 2, 3, and 4. Step 2, the text alternative. Rewrite a short alt text that states the headline numbers. For example, Q2 program dashboard, 3,742 enrollments, 71% on time, and 18 at risk. Then a long description that points users to the data table below. Step 3, color and contrast. We drop the red-green only encoding, move to a single hue with varying lightness, add value labels to every bar, and use a hatch pattern to mark the leading region. We also bump up the label contrasts to pass AA requirements. Step 4, the data table. Every KPI title, every region total, every trend value written out as real selectable text, so a screen reader can navigate it appropriately. Step 5 comes next, testing with a screen reader to confirm the meaning actually lands. And here's the result after step 5. The KPI titles are now labeled with real text and trend arrows. So 71% isn't a styled image, it's a tagged value with a meaningful label. The chart uses a colorblind safe palette with labels on every bar. Every region and trend value is real, selectable text. And when you run a screen reader over the whole thing, a non-visual user now gets every number, the trend direction, the risk count, instead of just hearing the word dashboard. That is equivalent access, and that is what this workflow produces. So here's a quick recap. First, data visualizations in many component types, not just charts. Dashboards, KPI cards, infographics, maps, embedded tables, each one needs its own text equivalent. Second, the law requires it, and WCAG tells you exactly how. Third, the master principle, always pair the visual with an accessible label or table. The visuals for the cited, fast comparison case, and the label or table is for everyone else. That concludes today's deep dive video on data visualizations. If you want to find out how I can help you get accessible, book a meeting with me right now. There's a link below this video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you over in the next video.